All right, I am going to show you how to create your final double exposure photo series project. Okay, so I have both of my images. Again, these were not mine. These were just ones that I found online. So I'm pretending that these were mine, okay? And I'm wanting to show you guys how to create your final photo series as one document. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples because this was really the easiest way to do this. Okay, so I have two images in my photo series. This is image one and this is image two. I've saved both of these to my desktop in a folder back here. So how do I combine these two into one document? If you're noticing, these are all horizontally aligned. Okay, so we can kind of guesstimate what the size is, but I'm going to show you the best way to do this. I want to create a document that is wider rather than longer, since these I think are going to be placed side by side, but we can fiddle with this. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go File, New. I want a blank document. So I'm going to go ahead and select a custom one, and you can change the size. My recommendation again is we want it longer than we want it taller. So this is 19 by 13, that would work, or better yet, 17 by 11. And the resolution should be 300 when you open it. So let's go ahead and create one that's 17 by 11. Again, we can always change this. So my document is horizontally aligned and it's tall. Okay, but again, wider than taller. Now I want to place those two images that I saved. So I'm going to do File, Place Embedded, and in my double exposure folder, I have my two final images here. So I'm going to hit Place on the first one, and obviously I can take my Move tool, I can move this over. Obviously I'm going to try to resize it because I want space for this one over here. So let's shrink this down a little bit. And then I can go ahead and place this on the left to start. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to hit return or the check mark. And now I want to go ahead and do a File, Place Embedded again. And that's going to be placing with my second one. Here's my second one. Now, one of the reasons I'm placing it this way, and I'm just going to resize this so you guys can see, one of the reasons I'm placing this one on the left and this one on the right is they work well together because this one is facing in and this one's facing in. You may not want to do that though. You may want to experiment with having this one on the right and this one on the left. It's really a personal decision. Okay, the other option that you could do is you could obviously place this on top and this one on the bottom, so it could be a vertically aligned image. So I would say you only have two or maybe three, which I'm going to show you in a minute. All right, and we want these to be, again, about the same size. If they are not the same size, you can always go into whatever layer that exists, and you could create something of a layer mask. So if I were to try to skinny this just a little bit, and then I selected this area with my marquee tool, I could always hit this layer mask to try to shrink this down a little bit to match that size. So I am playing around with order, organization, and layout. That is very important for people to understand your series. Okay, so this would be a vertically aligned document. If I'm happy with this, I can always take my crop tool, move it in, right, to finalize this to make sure this truly looks correct. I could always change the background as well. Okay, so if I don't want a white background, again, I could always create a solid color background, right? Change it to whatever color I'd like and drag it underneath. But the goal of this, again, is to try to have one document that has both of my images on it. And again, if I found a mistake with this, for example, this one's a little wider, I could always crop that again so that it looks exactly the same size as the other one. Okay, so again, I'm playing around with the finalization of my photo series. Okay, we can always go back, we can always change this, I can always go to my original idea because I think I do like these side by side, right? I can crop this more, I can make my layer mask, I can crop the whole thing. That's option one. When you're done with this, obviously you want to do File, Save a Copy. I would name it something like Final Double Exposure Photo Series. Okay, so final DES for series underscore my initials. I'm going to change it to a JPEG. And then this is what I'm going to submit to the link in Schoology when I provide you guys that. Okay, so that looks great. Now, if we have another option, I have, let's say, 3 images. This is just an option for 2. What happens if I have 3 photos? Again, same thing. I have some that are vertically aligned. So if I open my other possible photo series options, I'm going to go to this one here. Okay, so I have some different ones that maybe I have 3 in my photo series. How do I change this? So I'm going to go ahead and do this same size document again. I think 11 by 17 is a good option, but again, you can change it to whatever size you want. So it's 17 by 11, again, wider then taller, and I'm going to do a file, place embedded with all 3 of those options. Okay, so I have this one here is my first one. Okay, move this around. Obviously, I can make this bigger in just a second. Hit return or the check mark that was up there. Place embedded again. Okay, this is my second one. Nope, wait, here we go. Second. Okay, that's about the same orientation, maybe just a little different. And then I have a third one. Okay, I'm gonna hit return, place embedded, and then let's pick that last one. Okay, so if you notice, there's an outlier here. This one that I just placed is definitely the outlier, right? So I want to figure out what is the order of these for my photo series. Is it, I think because there's 3, it makes more sense to have these more horizontally aligned. This might make sense, but I don't like this as much because 2 of them are looking to the right and this one's looking to the left. So what if I swapped places with these 2? Okay, put this here, move that over, enlarge this just a little bit. This is looking better to me. Obviously, I can crop this whole space, but I'm wanting this to make sense. And the other reason that this is an outlier is because this is the only horizontally aligned image. These 2 are vertically aligned. So you can kind of look at your 3 images. Are there any outliers? Is there one that might be different than the other 2? Okay, I'm liking this. If you ever want to make sure that these are all in line, you can always do a view, go to extras, and then you can also see your grid, like a grid will show up this way. So sometimes I can say, okay, this is a little bit off. I'm going to move this down a little. I'm just using the arrows on my keyboard to move things. Again, I can still enlarge it. If you want your grid to go away, you can always hold Command H. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to hit Command H, that turns off the grid, and then I want to crop this whole thing. So I'm going to go to my crop tool, I'm going to bring it in, and I want a little bit of a border. Again, this is an artistic decision. You may not want too much of a border. Okay, I really like borders, so I'm going to use that. That's about in the middle. Click return or the check mark that was just here. And again, I can still go back and I can still move things around to center things. Okay, so now you guys have the options of a 3 image photo series or a 2 image photo series. That's it.